Hello. So today I'm going to talk about Richard Hoggart, Raymond Williams and E.P. Thompson. In my previous video, I had already told you about the historical background of cultural studies and what is cultural studies. So in this video, I'm going to talk about these theorists. So first, there is Richard Hoggart. Let's know more about him and his importance in cultural studies. Richard Hoggart, as I already told you, that he coined the term cultural studies. He first coined the term cultural studies. Richard Hoggart, a significant figure in the early development of cultural studies, made invaluable contribution by challenging traditional distinction between high and low culture. His seminal works, The Uses of Literacy, which published in 1957, explored the impact of mass media and consumer culture on working class communities in post World War Britain. This groundbreaking book provided the foundation for the critical analysis of popular culture and everyday life. So Richard Hoggart, he also belonging from working class culture, he made a significant role in cultural studies. He already coined the term cultural studies, and he distincts between high and low culture, and his most famous work, which is The Uses of Literacy, which published in 1957, explored the impact of mass media and consumer culture. So what is mass media and what is consumer culture? It explored the impact of mass media and consumer culture on working class communities in post World War Britain. This groundbreaking book provided a foundation for critical analysis of popular culture and everyday life. Then Hogarth emphasized on understanding and valuing culture of ordinary people. So as I told you before, that he belonging from the lower class or working class, so he's concerned about the ordinary people, and as well as his role in the establishment of Brigham Center for the Contemporary Cultural Studies laid the groundwork for the interdisciplinary and socially conscious approach that defines cultural studies. His influence is particularly evident in the work of scholars like Stuart Hall, who extended and deepened the study of culture, representation, identity in societies. So, you know that after Richard Hogarth, Stuart Hall took his role, and he extended and deepened the study of culture. Then there is Raymond Williams. So here is the picture of Raymond Williams. So let's know more about him. He is most important. So Raymond Williams, born in 1921 and died in 1988, was a prominent cultural critic and one of the key figures in development of cultural studies. His writing have had a lasting impact on the field. Some of his notable works, let's look at it. So Raymond Williams born in 1921 and died in 1988. He was a prominent cultural critic. So his first most important work is Culture and Society. So there I did not write it chronologically, but after that in one slide I wrote it in chronology. So please note it down, because most of the time they asked Richard Williams' work in chronologically. So Culture and Society, let's know about this work, which published in 1958. This book is often regarded as one of the foundational texts of cultural studies, and in it William explores the relationship between culture and society. So it is the foundational text of cultural studies, and in it Williams explores the relationship between culture and society. Then focusing on how uh, culture is shaped by historical and social factors. So, how culture is shaped by the historical and social factors? He introduced the concept of structure of feeling. So, this is important. It is also asked in net. So, he introduced the concept structures of feeling to emphasize the emotional and cultural dynamics within different historical periods. So, he said that he introduced the concept structure of feeling to emphasize the emotional and cultural dynamics within different historical periods. Then his next work, The Long Revolution, which published in 1961. In this work, William delves into transformations in culture and society in the 20th century, especially examining the impact of technology, mass media, changing dynamics of class and identity. He discusses the role of education, literature, communication, mass communication, and shaping cultural change. So he discusses the role of education, literature, mass communication, shaping cultural change in his work The Long Revolution, where he delves into the transformation, that how society transforms in the 20th century, when the technology, the mass media came, and how it changes the social structure, our art, our literature. Then the next work is a keyword, a vocabulary of culture and society. So you have to note down the subtitle also. Keywords, a vocabulary of culture and society, which published in 1976. So sometimes they ask the odd one out, where you can have to out the which is not Williams work. So this type of questions also asked. This is an influential book, explored the meanings and changes in meanings of key terms in culture and social discourse. William traces historical development of words like culture, class, ideology, shedding light on how language reflects shifts in social thought. So in keyword subtitle, A Vocabulary of Culture and Society, which published in 1976. This is an influential book, explores the meaning of changes in meaning of key terms in culture and social discourse, that how the meaning change. So William traces the historical development like culture, class, and ideology, and shedding light on how language reflects social thought, mean how language change and how language change the words like culture, so class and ideology. So time to time it's changed, like Derrida said that no meaning is stable or fixed. Then his next work is Marxism and Literature, which published in 1977. William examines the relationship between literature and Marxism, that how Marx influenced the literature. So he examines the literature and Marxist theory, critiquing traditional approaches to literature from Marxist perspective. So he critiques the traditional approaches of literature by Marxist perspective, by focusing on the power structure, how these previous texts are structured, and how which power is more high than the other, which person more high than the other. So he tried to critique it in the light of Marxist perspective. He highlighted the importance and of understanding literature in its social and historical context. So he tried to highlight the importance of understanding literature and literature in its social and historical context. Then the country and the city. So his every work is most important, so please note down all this work. The country and the city, which published in 1973. In this work, William contrasts the rural and urban experiences and their portrayal in literature and culture. So here he said that if I told you that please write 5 sentences about village. What you will write? You write that village is a it placed in countryside, and there everyone is farming, natural beauty, everyone is so simple and so innocent. But the truth is not like that, right? But truth is not that, because now everyone not farming there, now everyone not innocent there, because there is internet reaching there, and people using internet, people facing the modern society, or people know that they are also Zomato and the other things reached. So the image of village, the image of countryside is not as you are saying. So image change, but now, but if you are asked that please write 5 sentences about village or country, you will write in this manner, in the traditional, old traditional manner. But now the things totally changed. So William tried to say about this, that in this work William contrasts the rural and urban experiences, and their portrayal, the how we portray it, is not real in literature and culture, because the society changed and you have to also change with the society. He analyzed how these contrasting settings have been used to represent changing social and their cultural values. So he analyzed that how these contrasting settings have been used to represent changing social and cultural values. Then modern tragedy. Modern tragedy, which published in 1966, William explores the concept of tragedy in modern society, examining its manifestation in literature, theater, and contemporary life. So it's talked about that the concept of tragedy in modern society, that examining the manifestation, that how literature, theater, and contemporary life changed. He offers insight into changing nature of tragedy and rapidly evolving world. So he offers that insights into changing nature of tragedy, that how tragedy changed in a rapidly evolving world. So this is called in which book? Modern tragedy. So, Raymond Williams was known for his interdisciplinary approach, combining insights for literary analysis and sociology and cultural theory. His writings emphasize interconnectedness of culture, language, society. They provided a critical lens through which to examine the complex relationship between culture, politics, and everyday life. His influence on cultural studies and his contribution understanding of culture and society remain highly regarded and continue shaped academic discourse. So let's know these his works chronologically. So first is culture and society. First is culture and society. You know that these books explore the between culture and society. So first, culture and society in 1957. The uses of literacy 1957. The culture and society 1958 by Williams. Then the long revolution, which published in 1961, which emphasizes the 20th century technology and mass media, how it changed the society. The long revolution, which published in 1961. Then modern tragedy, which published in 1966. This emphasizes that how the theater and literature changed. The writing of tragedy also changed. So it published in 1966. Then the country and city, which published in 1973, where he shared his view that how the urban and countries representation not changed, and with the society. So this was published in 1973, The Country and the City. Then Marxism and Literature 1977, which emphasized that how which where he emphasized the literature through Marxist perspective. Then a keyword, a vocabulary of culture and society, which published in 1976. So it should be uh, fast, right? First 19 Okay, so 1976 keywords, then 1977 Marxism and literature. So this was all about Raymond Williams. Now I am going to talk about E.P. Thompson. So here is the picture of E.P. Thompson. Let's look about his works. E.P. Thompson, he was born in England. So E.P. Thompson, his full name was Edward Palmer Thompson, was a British historian and social critic known for his influential work on social history and cultural studies. So let's know his work. First is the making of the working class. So it is his most important work, the making of the working class, 1963. So he did a what can I say, that he was a marvelous work. He did a marvelous work. What he did, he want to analyze the working class people's life. So what he did, he collected the industries notebook where the working class people's name are there, there some information about their life where they are. So he took all these working class uh, people's life history or information, and then joined it together and then write the making of the working class, that what make the working class never reach the high class. Why? Because the false consciousness in Marxist view, that they are not taught that how to develop their skills. They are the society, the powerful men, they suppress them to be working class. So they here in this work he research on the working class people. So Thompson magnum opus, so it is called his magnum opus because he did a marvelous work here. So it is called his, sorry, so it is called his magnum opus. This book, seminal work in social history, it traces development of English working class from 18th century to 19th century. So he collected their informations from various sources from 18th century to 19th century and shedding light on their experiences, culture and struggles. So that how their life suffering, their struggles, and he shedding the light on their experiences. And he wrote the making of the English working class, which published in 1963. So please note down this work, this is very important. Then his other works, that William Morris and Romantic to Revolutionary, which published in 1955. William Morris, Romantic to Revolutionary. Thompson's biography of the artist and socialist William Morris explored Morris' life and political activism and contribution to the arts and craft movement. Then his another work, it is also important, the Poverty of Theory and Other Essays, which published in 1978. This collection of essays includes the Poverty of Theory, a critique of Louis Althusser's structuralist Marxism and other writings on literature, culture and politics. Poverty and Other Essays, which is a collection of essays and which critique Louis Althusser's structuralist Marxism and other writings on culture and politics. Then his next work is Customs in Common and Studies in Traditional Popular Culture, which published in 1991, which published posthumously, mean after his death it was published. And this work examines the traditional forms of popular culture in England. So the name of the work, Customs in Common, Studies Traditional Popular Culture, and it emphasizes the traditional forms of popular culture in England, and focusing on customs, rituals, communal aspects of everyday life. So you know that they always talk about the popular culture, the try to critique the distinction between high and low culture, and here he talked about the customs and rituals of communal aspects of everyday life. So, E.P. Thompson's writing of the making of working class are celebrated for their groundbreaking contribution to social and historical and cultural studies. His commitment to understanding the lives and struggles of working class had a lasting impact in historical and cultural scholarship. So, this is his magnum opus, the making of the English working class. So that's all for today. I hope you will like it, and if you have any queries, please write in the comment section, and thank you for giving your time.